Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel for How to Love a Battered Woman. I know I have been missing for quite some time, and that's kind of what this video is about. I have been going through a lot of medical, a lot is not the right word, but I've been going through a lot of medical stuff, and so I decided that I was going to make this a learning opportunity for others and do a 3-part series. So this first part, sorry, I'm out of breath. This first part is going to be explaining what my medical situation is, kind of what's going on, the news I received, the next step I'm going to take. And then the second part is going to be once I get to my surgical procedure. And then the third part is going to be probably like a couple months after post-op. So yeah, so before we get into it, you know what happens next. Okay, so on June 12th, 2019, I was diagnosed with a Chairi 1 malformation, and I will explain to you what that is, although it has a very pretty name. She's a bitch. Excuse my language, but she is. So before that, I kind of wanted to do a little bit of a backstory just so you guys can get caught up, so you're not like, okay, what is this? Like, why do we care? Whatever. So I will give you the backstory first, and then I will explain to you what the hell a Chairi 1 malformation was, because you're probably just as confused as I am, unless you have a Chairi malformation. Okay, so about 6 years ago, I randomly started urinating blood out of nowhere, and I was playing college basketball in Lamar, Colorado at the time, and the doctors were like, oh, you have a UTI, oh, you have a chronic UTI. Just kidding, you don't have either of those things because there was never an infection present. We need to get you in for imaging. Okay, so you have kidney stones. Just kidding, you don't actually have kidney stones. You have kidney cysts. Just kidding, your kidney cysts never actually existed. We need to get you to a nephrologist. A nephrologist is a kidney specialist. So in the 2 weeks before they could make the decision to get me to the nephrologist, I had to do several urine samples just to see how frequently I was urinating blood. And I was with Kaiser Permanente at the time, and they said that I wasn't urinating blood consistently enough, and so basically they couldn't do anything with me. And they said that if I kept coming back to see them for my urinating blood issues, or for any issues related to this in general, that they would rule it psychological. Yes, they told me they would rule it psychological. So that's cool. So then, after that, I switched off of Kaiser Permanente and I got on my mom's insurance, which I went to Blue Cross Blue Shield. I got a new primary care physician. And for a really long time, I think I want to say like maybe 3 years ago, I started getting these really excruciating headaches in the back of my head, and I couldn't cough, sneeze, laugh, dance, twerk, because I likes to twerk. I couldn't do anything of those like crazy head motions or anything like that without causing pretty much excruciating headaches that would knock me on my ass, essentially. So at that point, I got concerned. I was experiencing really bad restless leg syndrome, restless body, my hands would tingle, my feet constantly tingle. And then my friend and I always used to make fun of the fact that I pee a lot. Like I would go to the bathroom like maybe 30 times a day, which at the time was funny because I was hydrating a lot. So I was like, it's fine, like I'm just drinking a lot of water. That's wrong. So once I started getting up to like the 60s, 65 times a day, peeing 65 times a day, I decided to seek a urologist. And so my primary care was concerned because I have this scalp condition, which at the time we didn't know what it was. I just found out that it's actually psoriasis, and it was on my face and everything. And so with that and all of my other symptoms, he was concerned that I had lupus. So they did a bunch of blood work. I went to a urologist. The urologist was like, they did a cystoscopy, and he basically shrugged me off. He was like, I mean, you have minor scarring on your bladder, but that shouldn't cause you to go to urinate 70 times a day. So let's do an MRI. So we did an MRI, found out that I had a mass in my Bartholin gland. I'm not going to explain what the Bartholin gland is because it's in the private area, but you can Google that. Any hoozle. So he was like, well, we're just going to get you to an OBGYN. So I went to an OBGYN, and she was like, okay, well, yes, it's a Bartholin cyst. We need to get you to another urologist. So I was like, I don't want to go to the same urologist I saw. They referred me out to a new urologist. And so he was like, yeah, we need to get this taken care of. And then while we're doing that, we'll do another cystoscopy so I can get a good look at your bladder and, try to see why you're urinating as much as you are. And it was associated with a lot of pain. So basically I've been a wild card for 6 years where I couldn't get anything figured out. Then I started having extreme bowel issues, and my stomach hurts all the time, or it was hurting all the time. It was off and on. So I was like, okay, they're like, you need to get to a GI. So I went to a gastroenterologist, however you say that. I went to a GI. They did a colonoscopy and an endoscopy, and the only thing that she found was that I had acid reflux. That can get taken care of. So I was like, okay, well, nobody's figuring out what's causing all of these issues. I'm frustrated, I'm scared, I'm concerned, I don't feel good. So after I got the mass removed, and then I went and, oh, it's raining. So after I got the mass removed, I got on medication for my frequent urination, and that was, it's been nice. It's gotten me down to about maybe 15, 20 times a day, which still really isn't good, but it's gotten better at night. So I was like, why is my fatigue so bad? Like, something has to be going on. So in the midst of that, my headaches were getting worse. My neck pain was getting worse. I thought I had a neck injury from an abusive relationship I had been in. So I also at the same time got referred to a spine doctor. So I had to do the stupid course of do physical therapy before insurance would approve an MRI. So I got an MRI after I did physical therapy, because obviously physical therapy didn't help anything. So I got an MRI, and that's when I got diagnosed with my Chairi 1 malformation. So we'll get into what a Chairi 1 malformation is. So a Chairi malformation, well, the type that I have, there's 4 types. I have a Chairi 1 malformation, and basically what that means is that the cerebellar tonsils, which are the bottom portion of the brain, are herniating into my spinal canal. So I have an 8.8 millimeter herniation. And so that's what's essentially causing literally all of my issues. So once they found that out, I got referred to a neurologist. And it was scary because, sorry, not a neurologist, a neurosurgeon. It was scary because of the fact that my spine doctor couldn't really tell me much about it. She didn't really know much about it. So, of course, being the person that I am, I got on Google and I started Googling everything. And I wasn't just like going to like the Mayo Clinic and stuff like that. Like, I was actually like looking up journals and specialists and stuff. So I got referred to a neurosurgeon, but I couldn't get in for like a month and a half. So I decided to Google top Chairi specialists in Colorado. And so I went to the Colorado Brain Spine Institute. Colorado Brain and Spine Institute. Gosh, I can't talk today. And so I booked an appointment there. I got in with them, I think within the next like week or so. Their systems crashed, so they tried not to see me, but I went to see them anyway. I brought them a 4-page write-up of like, it was called Nia's Medical Mystery. It was a 4-page front and back write-up of all of my symptoms, what started, how it happened, going from there. And so they're like, okay, We want to order some more MRIs just to make sure that you don't have any cysts in your spine, to make sure you don't have a tethered spinal cord, and to make sure that you don't have any tumors in your brain. So I left frustrated because, you know, it was like more answers, or more unanswered questions. And there was more questions than answers that I was getting. So I went and did my MRI, and it was 3 of them. So I had to do, I had already done cervical spine, thoracic and lumbar spine. And then I had to do a full brain MRI. So upon that, I went back and I saw them, and he pretty much said that he needed to refer me out to another doctor, which was Dr. Oro, who's the top Chiari specialist in Colorado, because they needed a second opinion because they weren't seeing any compression on my spinal cord, which is a big part of what causes symptoms, is that there is so much pressure on the spinal cord where the brain is herniating that's what causes a lot of neurological symptoms. And I meet the criteria for Chiari. He's just never seen this case before. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. Frustrated, but whatever. So I had heard about Dr. Oro through another Chiari sister of mine, and unfortunately he's no longer accepting patients. And so I felt extremely defeated. Like, I felt so defeated. But his office was very nice enough. His medical assistant was really nice enough to send me 2 links to this two top specialists that specifically study Chiari malformations, because obviously it's not really known about. We'll get to the second neurologist in a second. And so I was like, okay, and I was like, okay, I will look into all of these neurosurgeons, and I will see if any of them are close enough, because they're all out of state. See if they're close enough, or if they're inside my network for insurance. And so they also referred Dr. Paolo Bolognese, who's in New York. And his statistics are phenomenal. Holy cow. But I was going through the list, and I saw this neurosurgeon in Michigan, and her name is Dr. Gilmer. And I was really excited just because she's African American and she's female. So automatically I felt like my odds weren't going to be stacked against me, because it's so rare to have someone that fits the demographics of myself. And so any other neurologist I looked up, literally every single one except for one other who is in Texas, but he only does pediatrics, they weren't inside my network for my insurance. And I was like, brain surgery is expensive and I am not going to try and pay this out of pocket. So I looked her up, and my jaw was on the floor because she was inside of my network. And I was like, okay, somebody somewhere, God, whoever it is trying to tell me something. So I got really excited. I told my best friend. My best friend was like, yes, like call them. So I called the next day. They told me everything, all the steps that they needed to do, that I needed to do. So I immediately, I just started calling everybody. I was like, I need my MRIs. I need this referral. I need this, and this. And I overnighted my paperwork. And mind you, the first neurosurgeon I was supposed to see, the one that I couldn't get in with for about a month and a half, was the following week when all of this was happening. So I was like, okay, I'm going to send all of my stuff. I'll reach out. I'll try my best to be patient, because I'm freaking out right now. Because I feel like the other neurosurgeon was going to say the same thing as far as referring me to Dr. Oro. So I was like, okay. I actually sent all of my paperwork and stuff to New York as well, to Dr. Bolognese, because I have out-of-network benefits with my insurance, and they accept patients who have out-of-network benefits. But I was like, 40% is still a lot, and that's before my max out-of-pocket and my deductible before, with my out-of-network benefits. With my in-network benefits, I've already met my out-of-pocket for the year. So anyway, let's see, the Thursday, so my appointment was on Friday. I called Michigan on Thursday, and I was like, hey, I haven't heard anything. I just wanted to see if you guys have gotten an answer. She's like, yeah, Dr. Gilmer's reviewed your case, and she's going to send you a letter. And I immediately, I was crushed, because usually when physicians' offices or doctors send out letters, it's usually because nothing's wrong. So I was like, well, that doesn't sound good. I'm really sad because I feel like nobody wants to take my case. And she was like, this is her medical assistant, her medical assistant's boss. She's like, no, don't take it that way. Like, I don't want you to be upset. I don't want you to get off the phone upset. So I'm gonna make you a promise. Once I see the letter come through my system, I will give you a call and I will let you know verbatim what the letter says. She's like, it's very, 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 very rare that Dr. Gilmore does not accept a patient. So I was like, okay, I got off the phone feeling a little bit better, but I was still extremely discouraged. So I had my neuro appointment the next day and I was like, you know what, maybe he'll look at me, maybe he'll take my case, maybe he'll say I do need the decompression surgery, and we'll go from there. Wrong. So he looked at my MRI, he looked at my paperwork and everything, and the referral that my first neurosurgeon sent over to his office, and he was like, I don't see any compression of the spinal cord or the brain stem. Like, I'm not seeing it. I've never seen a case like this. Like, your tonsils aren't herniating. Like, they're not pushing down. Like, they're perfectly rounded. I've never seen anything like this before, which doesn't understand like why your left arm is decreasing and like why you have all these neurological symptoms, and the headaches make sense, but nothing else makes sense. Like, have you actually seen just a neurologist, not a neurosurgeon, but a neurologist? And I was just like staring at him because I've done so much research on this, including Dr. Gilmore's page, where I watched every single thing she's ever posted on YouTube or any videos or any article she's ever written. And it was pretty much the opposite of what he was saying. So he was trying to order new tests, more tests, trying to get me to other places. And I was just like, you know what? Okay. So, and then he said to me, he was like, the CU Medical Campus only does maybe 1 or 2 decompression surgeries a month, if that, maybe. And I was like, skirt. No, thank you. So anyway, I left feeling super defeated, and I actually, before I left, I cried for like maybe 10 minutes before I left his office. And then within 3 minutes of leaving his office, Michigan called. Michigan was like, look, this is what the letter says. Dr. Gilmore wants to take your case. So within 10 minutes, I had my initial consult scheduled, my surgery scheduled, and I felt so much better. So, yeah, so that's basically the history. That's kind of what's been going on. So, a little bit more in detail. So, I'm going to have brain surgery. It's scheduled for October 2nd. And basically what Chairi is your skull is too small for your brain. So it's causing your brain to push down outside of the skull. So basically they have to go and make my skull not bigger, but give my brain room. So they have to go in and remove a piece of my skull, she actually clips the tonsils off the brain as well, and removes a piece of the vertebrae. Excuse me, I have something in my eye. Off the vertebrae, so that it provides more room for my brain. So as you can imagine, I am scared, stressed out, but I'm relieved because I have been fighting to figure out what's wrong with me for 6 going on 7 years now. And I've probably seen over 30 doctors, which is interesting that it took so long to get a brain MRI, but it is what it is. So yeah, that's why I've been missing in action. That's why I have kind of just been more behind the scenes. I haven't been posting as much. Obviously, this is my first YouTube video in a couple of months, and that's just because this was really a lot of news to take in. It was the last thing in the world I was ever going to imagine someone saying, like, you have a Rainbow disorder that not many neurosurgeons or neurologists know about. So trying to advocate for my care, find help was really hard, really stressful, but I got through it and I made it, and I have an amazing doctor. I'm in a Chairi support group on Facebook, and a lot of the people that are in that support group have Dr. Gilmore as their doctor, and I've heard so many amazing things already. I cannot wait to get to Michigan. Unfortunately, due to a lot of medical bills and a lot of things that have come up, I have decided to open a GoFundMe account, which kind of goes against anything that I ever really thought I believed, because I never thought I just never wanted to be the person to ask people for money. But at this point, any donation can help. I will put the link down below so that you guys can just go take a look. But I at least wanted to explain my story, because I know I'm not the only person that's going through this, or has gone through this, that has been overlooked by doctors, that I've been overlooked by people. And when you don't look sick, it's hard for people to take you seriously. Like, there are days I can't get out of bed because my fatigue is so bad. There are days, and that's because the condition is causing sleep apnea. So I just have really bad fatigue. There are days where I can barely see out of my right eye because I have a lot of spots, a lot of floaters. My left arm is decreasing. My memory retention is really, really bad right now. And it's kind of like watching yourself decrease. There's nothing you can do to stop it. So it's been emotional, to say the least. I'm so incredibly blessed for my support system. My best friend has been absolutely amazing through this whole entire process. She's been to almost every single doctor appointment. She's coming with me to Michigan. My dad is coming. For those of you who have known what's going on, thank you so much for all your prayers, your well wishes, and your words. They mean so much to me. I can feel them. So yeah, I have just been really overwhelmed, but I decided to not let it defeat me to the point where I wasn't going to at least document it, because I know there are a lot of people that are looking for doctors like I was. There are a lot of people looking for help like I was. And so I just want to be able to bring some awareness and some help. So, part 2 will be coming, and I will be filming, obviously I'll be filming it at the end of September and then October. And then once I'm in a better position, mentally, physically, and emotionally, I will put the pieces of that video together, and then I will release it on YouTube. But don't expect that till probably late November, early December, just so I can have some time to recover from such an extensive surgery. So thank you guys so much. I miss you guys. I do have a lot of behind the scenes things that are going to be in work. 2020 looks like it's going to be an amazing year for How to Love a Battered Woman. So thank you for your support. Thank you for all your amazing and kind words. Again, I will put the GoFundMe link below. For those of you who do have Chairi and are looking for assistance and are looking for help, I will put my email address below as well. You can always reach out to me on there, or you can reach out to me on the How to Love a Battered Woman's Facebook page, Instagram page. And yeah, I'm more than willing to help others find the help, because I know it's not easy. So with whatever you guys need, please let me know. I don't mind helping. Also, I will put the link below so you can grab a shirt for my hashtag battered hearts, because I love you guys so much. I actually have a new shirt releasing soon, but shh, you'll find out about that one very soon. Thank you for all your support, and I will keep you guys updated. Thanks, battered hearts. Love you guys.